Good try. Or we are live now. Okay, now we're live. Eesh. Eesh. All right, guys. My brother Kid here. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. I'm sorry. I was talking with Malcolm. Malcolm and I were talking. I was laughing at so. Welcome to the 101st Open Mic Q&A session. This is the end of the month of May. And as always, I do two of these a month. And here we are to do these end of the month for May. I want to thank everybody who is coming through, who will be coming in. I see a couple of questions already up there. I've started to start putting like a big moderate question um, on the chat in the chat room. Now you could do that. So the first thing I did, I put a chat. So I would love to see people answer that question. What did you think of the Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer? That was dope to see Peter with the symbiote and that, and actually seeing I got one of my characters correct. Somebody had asked me on made wanted me to do a Patreon request. Somebody asked me which what are some villains that you want to see in Spider-Man 2, and well, I got my wish. Well, one of them was Craven, and we knew that was happening but outside of that, yeah, we got the lizard. The lizard is back, and my God, he looks like a freaking dinosaur. I was like, when they showed, Craven hunting Dr. Connors, and he's in his lizard form, and I saw the guy. I was like, how big is he? And you see him swimming through the East River, and I'm like, and Miles sees him first, and that was the other question I love to see was like, how are they going to play up the fact that you can? Was it going to be co-op? Because a lot of people were wondering. Okay, sorry about that. That's my phone. The question was, how will it be co-op, because you could play with Peter or Miles, and then it was shown that you're able to switch between them. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of similar to what they did in GTA 5. You could switch between the characters. I love the fact that they also added the whole slingshot aspect where you can web like a flagpole and pull it back, like we saw in the first Spider-Man movie when Peter, when he shot himself to the Queensboro Bridge. And I was like, oh, you could do that. That was cool. But yeah, you could notice in that trailer, Peter is acting a lot differently. Like he's more aggressive, and I'm like, and Yuri Logwolf is bringing that out, which I love. And you're hearing him say "we," and I'm like, are you seeing how he's acting? Y'all go watch my reaction. You can see him like, y'all hear how he's acting. That's the symbiote talking. So the real question also is who. The real question is who's gonna be the host for Venom. Uh, is it going to be Eddie Brock, or will they have somebody else? Um, will it be Harry? It could be different than in the main continuity. But yeah, the trailer was great to see. The gameplay was great. Um, Miles, when he does his bioelectric shock, he charges it up like a Hadouken. I was like, wait, he was charging it up. I was like, look like a Hadouken. Like it was pretty cool. But it was cool. It was real cool to see. I'm looking forward to seeing who else um, is going to be, other villains going to be in. But I like what I saw so far from Craven. That's my favorite Spider-Man villain. So to see him in there was great. I mean, he was hunting one guy, and then he just caught the guy and snapped his neck, and he's like, "I told you to bring me a challenge." I was like, and so they showed New York, and you saw like, huh? Yeah, so it's cool. It's really cool. Um, so outside of that, we got the next Mortal Kombat coming out, which they're kind of it's I guess you could say this is a new timeline for the Mortal Kombat universe. Yeah, maybe it should have been called. Me and Malcolm were talking about that. Maybe it should have been called Mortal Kombat Zero instead of One. But this is basically the results of what we saw. Basically, is showcasing that the Liu Kang ending is canon, not the Shang Tsung ending. So, and we're gonna see. I mean, it's cool. It was cool to see. My favorite. I was like, Scorpion better. They better be in this. There's no way they're not. And to see them now, they're not fully with their suits on. You can see their hair. But it does look like they still became what they are, but they're not at odds with each other. It seemed like that's the way it was going, which is cool, you know. But then we see that Princess Kitana and I guess Princess Melina are in not Outworld. That looked like Edenia. It was colorful, it was bright, but Melina still looks like she's got her Tarkakian. Or yeah, I'm like, wait, if Lou tried to, why didn't he just make Melina look beautiful or whatever? Like she still got her eyes, and I'm like, okay. We saw Raiden, who I thought was Kung Lao. I was like, wait, is that Kung Lao? And I'm like, oh, that's right. People were saying, no, that's Raiden. So now he's immortal now, and that's going to be interesting. And Kung Lao is in it as well. It makes me wonder how many characters are in it. And of course, we just got the release of we got the newest release of the next character in Tekken 8. They brought in Brian Fury. I forgot what his nick. They said he's called the Embassy of Chaos or something. So you know we got Brian Fury, Mister. You know his laugh. So that was cool to see. Street Fighter 6 comes out in a couple of days. And it's really cool about Street Fighter 6 is the lineup is akin to Street Fighter 2. Really cool.
Also makes sense.
Makes sense because of the
Street Fighter
the
probably to the fighting game universe, the modern day Street Fighter 2. What Street
Yeah.
Fighter 2 did to the landscape, it looks like it. But I will admit, I think a lot is riding on the whole open world thing, and if that thing don't deliver, then I do think there might be some major criticism because I think a lot of people are more interested in okay, how they gonna do that open world stuff.
Yeah, the loading and everything, but from what I saw, like it's people are really it's getting high praise, and I'm like, okay, but yeah, it's funny how, and I really appreciate this as a fighting game fan to see pretty much the three kings of fighters. No offense, no offense to SNK, but look, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken all coming out this year. That's crazy. When was the last time that happened? So yeah, guys, there are a lot of things coming out, and like I said, and there's I think, and it will always announce that they're still updating certain. Sorry about that. That is. Oh God, let me make sure. Uh, okay, damn it. Sorry about that, guys. This is my phone. Matt, can you go get my food?
I told you, I'm not sure when until the food came.
Sorry. So sorry about that. But yeah, so we're getting a lot from the world of gaming, and I'm happy. And I'm glad that, you know, we're starting to see more, and I'm glad to see that more games are starting to take their time because there've been a couple of games that were highly anticipated and they came out and they floundered. We're getting a remake or of Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eaters, you know, and y'all know how I feel about Konami and the Metal Gear franchise. I really wish they just let Kojima take his baby with him. But I am looking forward somewhat. I'm worried, but I am looking forward to see the what it looks like and everything, like how it's gonna play and things like that. Uh okay, let me turn this off. There you go, my sound's off. All right. So I am looking forward to seeing what the games look like in general, because at the same time, I am a huge Metal Gear fan. I know they're going to bring out this whole collection, and not just of Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear Solid games, but we're talking about the Metal Gear games that I grew up with that came from the original Nintendo. Yeah, thank you. Uh, so that's going to be really interesting to see. So they're going to bring out that in a whole collection. But yeah, at the end of the day, guys, look, Metal Gear. I don't trust Konami. I really don't. I'm not really trusting them to deliver on this. And why Snake Eaters? That's a good question. Why Metal Gear Solid 3? Snake is probably because I guess you want to go with the first one to involve Big Boss, I guess. But I am worried because again, like I said, I don't trust Konami, and I really wish Konami just let Kojima take his baby with him. That's his baby, not theirs. They didn't make the game; they just distributed it in a sense, or something like that. So yeah, but there's so many games coming out, guys. That's pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Uh, and speaking of gaming, if you guys didn't see my post on the community feed, guys, I deactivated my all gaming channel. And the reason why I did it was because I focused so much on the main channel, I forgot about that channel, and that's my fault for making sure the main channel is staying up to date and everything that, and not focusing on that. So what I plan to do now is have just my gamings on this channel, so it'll work out better. Um, so what I used to say was the only gameplay you'll see on the main channel was games that were focused on superheroes and things like that. So that's why you see all the Injustice, the Ninja Turtle games, the Spider-Man game, and everything that they're on this channel. But I decided, I'm just gonna do on this channel. So I took some gameplays from old retro games that I had posted up there, and I'm gonna start reposting them back on the channel. I just reposted my retro gaming of the game Space Ace, and I was rewatching that again, and I was like, yeah, that had me laughing again. I was like, oh my god, I got so angry at that game. So so it's pretty funny. I'll probably replay Ghouls and Goblin again because I had it up, and then I think I deleted it or something. I think I did. I forgot, but yeah, you want to hear me get pissed because I couldn't get off the first level. I was like, yeah, okay. But yeah, guys, I've been catching up on some things and things like that. And I see your questions. I'm gonna get to your questions. I see them all. So thank you for coming in and hanging out. We're gonna hang out for a while and just kick it, and I'll answer your questions and things like that. Okay. So we'll start off with Chris Funk. Chris, am I right? Kristen Funk. Okay. Hey Chris, I hope you're doing well, man. Sorry I couldn't make the session uh live. So here's my questions. Number one, now that you're gonna wait, now that you what? Now that your gaming is deleted. Wait, what? Oh, gaming channel. Okay, is deleted. Are you gonna what games are you gonna see? Like I said, you're again, like I said before, you're gonna see the games that I want to play that I play. You'll see me do games like when I do get Street Fighter 6, I will post that up. I'll put online battles and stuff like that because I do go online a lot on Street Fighter. You'll see some other stuff and things like that, but you're gonna see retro gamings as well. Number two, Did you see WWE Night of Champions and Double or Nothing? AEW. No, I did not. I didn't see any of them because I was working that day. Uh, I saw some clips of it. Um, Malcolm, you saw it, right?
So what?
You saw Night of Champions, right?
Yeah, I want.
Malcolm watched it. He watched it. I didn't because I was working. Um, I heard a lot of the matches that I saw, they were pretty good. It was from what everybody said, it was an overall pretty damn good pay per view or premium event, as they like saying. Um, there's trouble brewing in the bloodline, which I think we're all knew it was going to happen. But to see not Jay but Jimmy kind of showcased, no, I'm tired of your ass, Roman, and that was beautiful. I watched that over and over. I've watched that over and over and over just to watch that. But I did not watch AEW, but I did listen to one of my favorites, Solomonster, review it, and he said it was nearly just a two match event. You know, the general consent was
with Double or Nothing is pretty underwhelming.
it was yeah. He
As
said
an overall show,
that's what he
and it
said.
definitely seemed as though the general consent is that Adam Cole Jericho match was a disappointment.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, from what I heard, from what he said, the Adam Cole unsanctioned match was Adam Cole won by stoppage. Huh? Like I didn't get that. But yeah, he said it was underwhelming. And the thing is, like, I'm very cautious, and Malcolm would say it too. Like, I think because we have gotten so the luxury of having, we ain't got to pay for pay-per-views really, especially with WWE. You got the network, you got Peacock, you can just watch it for free. And it's been a long time since I have paid for a pay-per-view literally to watch. And so I have not watched it. I heard it was but no, I have not watched it. And number 3, is the Fast and the Furious movie good? I've never watched it. But a lot of people say now it is more of a superhero franchise. Malcolm and I, my brother and I, we talked about this. Um, it's if you've never watched it, it's a Malcolm, your food here. Uh, it's really different. It started out as just a movie about um it started out as a movie just about street racing. It was about street racing. Paul Walker, rest in peace, was an undercover cop trying to find the head of this street racing, played by named Dom Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. Okay. Then he gets in too deep, and then it goes from there. And then of course we all know. And then but then over time, every sequel that comes out, they up it and up it and up it and up it and up it until the point it started to really kind of jump the shark a lot of times. And it really did. It started to it every sequel just up, 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 up. But I will say for Fast and Furious, they get a lot of big names to get into their franchise, and not just big names, but award-winning names. Like you would never thought you would see Helen Mirren, the Dame Helen Mirren in it, but she's in it and she loves it. But as for a superhero franchise, yeah, if your friends are saying that too, my brother and I even said that. Yeah, it's a superhero friend. Like if you don't think so, go watch the spinoff Hobbs and Shaw. They jumped the shark in that movie so much. Like Israel Elba's character is a goddamn super soldier. He's basically Brian Fury. That's what he is. It's they have so for anybody out there to say Fast and Furious is not like a superhero movie, forget it. Dom, even Vin Diesel's character is like super beyond superhuman. I'm like, what the? There's certain things you gotta. It's a popcorn movie, but there are times you're like, no, nobody could do that. Nobody should be able to do that. Like, what the, it's stuff like that. It's like yes, there are certain movies like Arnold had certain things in his movies that you're just like that's impossible. But to the point, it's also believable because he was a bodybuilder, so you could understand him picking up certain things, and then it's like okay, that's believable. But at the same time, yeah, it's it is. It has become that. Next up, Cuba. Uh, what's your favorite horror film remake? Uh, favorite horror film remake. I would go with The Hills Have Eyes. Um, watching the original Wes Craven film that came out in the 70s, was good. And then watching the remake that came out in 2006, it was a fairly it was a fairly good remake that actually gave more incentive, I guess the word would be, to understanding the cannibalism of, because in the 2006 version remake, which was under Wes Craven's production, if I remember correctly, um, at least you could understand them better. The cannibal is like the family because they were all products of radiation fallout. Like that's why they looked all deformative, like they look like mutants and things like that. They look mutated and things, and there were certain things about it, like Jesus, they was like super strong, but while you watch the original one, the original from the 70s, it was very low budget, of course, but they nothing looked different about any of them. They just looked like wild people, with dirt on their faces, and they were cannibals. But it still stayed the same that the dogs, there was two German shepherds. The family had two German shepherds, Beauty and Beast. Beauty got killed and was eaten by the family, and then but Beast, the male, got revenge for his, I guess, his lover, his female companion. So it was cool to see. So yeah, the remake was good. I did watch the Hills Have Eye 2 remake, from the remake, and then of course I've watched all these Hills Have Eyes from the originals to the remakes. The second one, I think Wes Craven and his son wrote the script for that. So yeah. So big ups to Wes. As always, give a lot of props to Wes Craven. If you want to say he's the king of modern day horror, I would I wouldn't argue with anybody saying that. Because that came out. Hills Have Eyes come out in the 70s, and that was still, I think, before the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and before Halloween and all those. So it started. Wes, you got to give Wes a lot of credit. Rest in peace. Quentin Blake, hey, what's up? If Link was a Green Lantern, do you think his willpower stronger than Hal Jordan's willpower? Uh, I wouldn't argue against it. A Green Lantern, it is all about will. That's what they represent, willpower. Anything they can think about, they can create. Um, I understand they always put Hal Jordan as, they always say that he's the greatest Green Lantern ever. And I question that a lot. I'm like, my favorite Green Lantern is Kyle Rayner. And I'm like, Hal Jordan never was the White Lantern. He wasn't the White Lantern. He never even tapped that power. And when you're the White Lantern, you have all the spectrum. You have all that. Hal Jordan never had that. You know, in a sense, you know, Kyle Rayner was never corrupted. Hal was corrupted. You got to look at it from a point of view like, you know, he did this, but there's always, this Hal. And that's the problem that I have with DC, and even now with Green Lantern comic now, they're going right back to Hal, going right back to Hal, and the backstory is with who? John Stewart, and it's like it's just John Stewart, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Hal Jordan. It's like they're so overexposed, and you don't get to see the other Earthling Green Lanterns. I'm not the biggest Guy Gardner fan, but you barely see him, and Kyle, and things like that. So yeah, and then of course that Simon Boz and Jessica Cruz. You know, it is what it is. It's just, but yeah, Link I would definitely say have more willpower. I'm excited for the new Mortal Kombat game and Marvel Spider-Man 2, and think will you think it you think it will win Game of the Year? Spider-Man 2, it could win it again. It did win it before. It won the first one won Game of the Year, so it's good to see, you know, Spider-Man have more of an open world feel with I mean, it's always had that to a degree, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, and in hindsight, yeah, Spider-Man does need a little.
Medium was Spider-Man, the Big Five, but the original source
Well,
material is the
yeah,
comics.
we'll go skip that. I don't even want to talk about that. What if Elektra trained Cassandra Cain? Uh, Elektra's no trainer. She'll be the first one to let you know. She don't train people. She don't. Elektra has never trained anybody in her life, and she doesn't have the patience for that. She's even said that she don't have the patience for that. So yeah. Hey Nathan, what are your thoughts on Injustice? Would you would be returning in what do you feel about Injustice be returning in Dawn of DC miniseries? Uh, yeah, I don't mind Injustice, but I think the whole trope of evil Superman is getting played out now. Um, again, my biggest I've even tweeted this to Tom Taylor. I even said it, and he's even agreed. Like, if that happened, if let's say Joker had made him kill Lois or something like that, Superman's will is way too strong to just, oh, okay, I'm gonna kill you now. Like, he's too grounded to let that stop him from being who he is, and then corrupting other friends. Like, I mean, instantly. What my problem with in the Injustice in general is, like, look how easy it was to Wonder Woman just was like, yeah, okay, Clark, let's do this. You know,
It's almost like they already felt this.
it's like, yeah, it's stuff like that. It's like Wonder Woman has always been an emissary of peace and love. Why would she just turn, like, the moment that happened? Do you not think her mother and the gods would have took her power away from her? They're like, no, you're not doing this. Um, Flash joining up, but yeah, he had a change of heart. But Barry should have never been there. Barry ain't like that. He ain't no totalitarian. Um, Hal was another stupid too. I was like, some of the stuff, but yeah, they did. Jonathan was in the Injustice universe, and he's seeing it now. I'm gonna read that in trade when it comes out, but I have been keeping up with it because, but yeah, he is Injustice Superman. He met Injustice Superman. He's seeing, like, people are scared of him and everything like that. So yeah, I've been keeping up, but I haven't read it. Just keeping my eyes open. Marion, hey Chris, Cyborg again. What would the Thunderbolts think of Wade Elling and vice versa? I really don't care. I don't care. Um, I really don't care. That's uh, let's see. Had Thunderbolt Ross successfully managed to kill the Hulk, how do you think his relationship with Betty would change? And how do you think those closest to Hulk would have reacted? What do you think?
That's a good answer.
that kind of answers your own question. What do you think? What do you think, Marion? You think that she would care for her father? You killed the man I love, and you think that kind of just answers your own question. That and the Ross managing to kill a Hulk. Yeah, okay. He couldn't even do that when he became a Hulk. So what's the point? Like that's funny. Um, what crime bosses in DC Comics would Kingpin interact with? You asked me this question before, Cyborg. Cyborg, you ask me the same questions every session. you, you asked me this before. I've told you before the same thing. He would interact with Lex Luthor. He would interact with Tobias Whale. He would interact with Blockbuster. All those. You asked me that question before. I always tell you guys, don't bring the same questions. I'm not mad, but it's just you guys. You asking me the same questions, the same questions. It does get a little. I don't like to repeat myself too many times. Like same question. My answer is not going to change. No offense, Cyborg, but you ask the same questions. Okay, Quentin. If Kyle Rayner met Princess Zelda, you think he would become friends or fall in love with her? What do you think? Okay, okay, okay. What's with the Kyle Rayner stuff and what? Yeah, Quentin, you kind of do this too, like the same questions. Look, I don't think he would. I think they could be friends, but nah, they fall in love with her. Like that's not how it works. Like okay, how do you think Amanda Waller would react if she got stripped of her rank in the government and go and had to what had to ins, ins, inst, and insult to injury, they permanently disbanded the Suicide Squad. Um, yeah, she would just go underground and do it herself. She would make a Black Ops. She would have Amanda Waller has a contingency plan for everything. She would just take the Suicide Squad underground, and there'd be really Black Ops. And she probably she's got a contingency plan. She always does. How strong would Colossus be if his armor was made of Uru metal? Very very strong. But his bio armor is strong as it is. That you got to remember, that's coming from him. That's his mutation. That's his body creating that steel. That's not like that's his mutation. He's a mutant. And I think a lot of people forget Colossus is a big boy even without when he metals up. He's all when he's in his organic skin. Colossus, I think, is 6'11" already. He's a big Russian. He's a big Russian boy. When he ching 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 ching, I think he gets to like 7 feet 4 or something like that. He's tall. He's very tall, and it ups his strength. But still, he's always been strong, and he's always. But it wouldn't make sense if his skin was Uru metal because one, that's the metal from what a lot of the Asgardians armors from. Two, it's not organic. Three, it wouldn't work because it's not a mutation. You see where I'm going at with that? Could Martian Manhunter beat Superman? Um, Martian Manhunter probably could beat Superman. Um, John gets slept on a lot. I think if I was to make a list of underratedly strong characters in DC, John Jones would be on that list. John is a strong powerhouse, and he doesn't get enough credit for that. Everybody just looks at him as the telepath and and all that stuff, but his Martian strength is increasingly strong. You know, yes, Kryptonians are very they can. Superman has somewhat trained his mind to not get controlled too much by telepaths, but when you're on that type of level, like John is, yeah. Like I'd say that about, let's say if Superman, and I believe this too, Superman was in the Marvel universe and he went on a rampage. Let's say he got up with like red kryptonite. You know what red kryptonite does to him, and went on a rampage. And let's say it came down to him, Jean, or Professor Xavier shutting him down. I honestly think Professor David could shut his mind down real quick. Gene could do it too. Like, okay, I'm gonna shut him down. Because they're, I personally think he could. So, but John does not get enough credit that he deserves.
Fire.
Yeah, yeah. The problem that's always the problem with Martians. They're weak against fire. Like that's just scary. Like, and I always wondered about that. Like, why fire? Like, why is fire like makes a Martian weak? Well, a green Martian. I don't think it works on white Martian. Um, Quentin, I don't like when Marvel Beast right now. What? I don't like when Marvel Beast right now. Are you trying to say you don't like what they're doing with Beast right now? Yeah, I don't like it either. And y'all gotta really kind of grammar yourselves a little bit. But yeah, I'm not liking what they're doing, and I have a theory on that. That's not really Beast. Hank McCoy. I'm believing that's Dark Beast in disguise. I could be wrong, but yeah, it could be. So yeah, y'all gotta work on your grammar. Like before y'all write the question, reread your, because that didn't make no sense, Quentin. That made no sense. I don't like when Marvel Beast right now. What? Okay, Nathan, how you read Injustice versus Master Universe featuring a crossover with? If so, what do you think about it? Agree or disagree with the ending? I enjoyed the Injustice Master Universe crossover. I enjoyed that. Seeing He Man get the power of Shazam, the Wizard. That was actually cool. I actually thought he's worthy of it. Um, it was fine. I enjoyed it. I met the artist who drew the comic last year at MegaCon. Great guy. It's fun, and yeah, I didn't mind it at all. I agreed with it to a degree. Yeah, it was fun. Marion, if I remember correctly, Colossus can take a beating from the Hulk. He has fought the Hulk, and he fought the Hulk at probably his strongest during that when they came back and when the Hulk came back to Earth after Planet Hulk. He was World Breaker Hulk, and yeah, Colossus fought him. He took blow for blow. Yeah, but yeah, he can go, but he wasn't strong enough because even you could see like they were, he even said it. He like Colossus, he even said Hulk said to him, he's like, once you probably would have been a match in strength for me, and then he just showed like the difference in strength with them, and he just broke Colossus' arms. I was like, ugh. He snapped his wrist. I was like, ooh. So, and he came because he came to Xavier because he was like, you were part of the the Illuminati that sent me out, and Professor Xavier was like, no, I wasn't. I wasn't there, and he wasn't. Uh, Charles Xavier was not there when they jettisoned him off. It was only Doc Strange, Black Bolt, Tony, and Reed. It wasn't. And I no, was Namor there? I don't think Namor was there, but no. Um, what are your personal thoughts on what Marvel is doing to Hank and McCoy, the Beast or the God of all mutants? I'm not liking who said that. Shoujo, right? Yeah, Shoujo. I love Beast. I love Hank McCoy, and I still have this theory that that's not really Hank. I'm not reading it, but I'm keeping ears on what's going on. I'm not. I don't think that's Hank. I think that Dark Beast in disguise. I really think that's Dark Beast and not Hank McCoy of the 616 universe. I'm thinking that's Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse story. Yeah, I think, yeah. So, but I don't like it. I really don't like what they're doing to Beast. My dad loves Beast. My dad's a big fan of Beast. Uh, say, can you imagine Tony Stark with a suit of kryptonite to defeat to defeat Superman? It would be risky but dumb.
Why would it be risky? Why would it be
Why
risky?
would it be
Hold
dumb?
on. Why would it be risky and done? The dude has a Hulk Buster.
Yeah, why would it be dumb,
That makes him
Nathan?
a Hulk Buster, so he
Yeah,
would have to he would have to create
yeah.
a rider
I'm trying to
that and
understand
Lex
that
Luthor.
because
Basically, it's risky. Basically, you're saying it's risky and dumb for Lex Luthor. He
yeah,
has a
I
that's
th-
the way
I
his
think
suit
I
is.
think I'm thinking what you're trying to say is that it would be risky because it has been shown that overexposure, even with humans with having kryptonite always with them, they can get sick. But if this is the first time Tony is dealing with Superman, let's say he went crazy, yeah, it wouldn't have long exposure to kryptonite
Yeah, it's almost
is
like
going to give a human cancer or something
it's
like
almost
that.
like abscess. No, abscess is like
Yeah,
you know constant exposure, or like rather people who were in the rebel and stuff of 9/11. Those people, yeah, because they got hit with it hard and everything.
yeah,
Or but yeah, like what is Tony gonna do? If it, especially you're saying it's just him going against Clark,
yeah. You got it.
evil Clark. Yeah, once he finds out about Kryptonite, he's like, all right, well, I gotta at least. Even if his whole suit is not made at,
Yeah,
like the cannons and stuff are
I
probably
am.
made
Yeah,
at.
that's what also you got to look at it from that point. Tony is smart enough to research a little bit into kryptonite. He probably would just put it in his repulsors and his unibeam right here. He wouldn't be so. Yeah, it's. I don't think that'd be dumb.
Come like Metallo.
Yeah, that would not be dumb. You got to think about that. I've got an interesting question for you. If Jim Gordon were to kill the Joker, how do you think his relationship with both Barbara and Batman would be? Marion, you're answering your questions. That question answers itself. It answers itself, dude. Like, think about it. What do you think would happen? First of all, Bruce is going to look at him differently. Like, what you kill him for? Barbara's going to look at. Think about it, man. Like, you're answering your own question. Think about that. Think about that. I don't know if you mentioned it yet, but R.I.P. Tina Turner. That's right. I was gonna bring that up soon too. Yes. We lost another. We lost a few legends this the end of the year, end of the month. Jim Brown, and Tina Turner passed away. 83. I think she was 83. The Queen of Rock and Roll. I would call her that. That's what everybody calls her. And probably the most gorgeous legs I've ever. Tina had. I don't care what Tina had. Some lovely legs. Her legs were on fleek. Um, I was a fan of Tina. I love Tina Turner. I loved what she stood for, and I love what Angela Bassett had to say about her, because she did play her in a movie. Um, if you don't know the story of Tina Turner, you should research. I mean, she started from humble beginnings. She got involved with a man who made her life a living hell in a sense. Ike Turner was a bastard. Beat her and hit her and abused her and things like that. Um, and when she got out of it, she still kept going on. I mean, a lot of her music was so powerful, and just from her voice alone, you know, it really showcased that she had was able to overcome her struggles and overcome her obstacles. And yeah, she stopped living in the U.S. She was living in Europe all this time. She was in Switzerland, I believe. It was in Switzerland. She left, and she I think she became a Swiss. She has a Swiss a, uh, because she kind of had the same thing. Well, she gave up her residency in the United States, but she's different from me because I have German and American citizenship. She became a citizen of Sweden, and I love the interview. She talked about it like she's very popular. She was very popular in Europe, and especially Switzerland. They respect her privacy. I was like, okay, I can understand that. But yeah, it was sad to hear that. I was shocked when that happened. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, that was uh that was just very shocking to see. One moment, sorry about that. I'm gonna close that door real quick. So no distractions. Okay, so yeah, rest in peace, Tina Turner. That was sad to hear. What Marvel characters do not get used a lot? You can take your pick. There's a lot of them that don't get used a lot to a degree. Um, like, I mean, here's the issue that I'm having now, guys, with Marvel in general. Is a lot of the comics are starting to look too much like the MCU, and that should not be that way. They should not be feeling more like the MCU. It should be the other way around. The comics are the source material, not the movies. And you want more proof of that? You go look at the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics, the current comics. They act more like what you see in the MCU. After Dan Abnett and Andy Landon's run, it changed and it went to they started acting. Star Lord's more comedic and things like that. That's not how he was. He was Star Lord was a badass. Like Peter Quill was a mixture of Captain America and Punisher in his original look. Now everybody they act more like they act more like the movie, which I don't like. Um, another example of this to a degree is in the Shang-Chi comics now. They just introduced the 10 rings. And I'm like, what the hell? Wait, what? Like, you see? And you're seeing and more want more proof? Okay. Agatha Harkness now is young in the comics now. She's supposed to be an older woman. She's always looked old. She always that. Now she's a younger woman. Why? In my opinion, to look more like Catherine Hine version of her. And you could see where they were going with that. And I'm like, I hate that. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And that happened in the Midnight Suns miniseries where they basically had the Midnight Suns. This series came out just around the time that game came out. So it's just like, yeah, where's the where's the just the originality? You're not now you're focused to and with Kamala Khan about to die in in the next Spider-Man, which just came out of really nowhere. Um, it makes me wonder, first of all, how long she I don't think she's gonna be dead for long. And it makes me wonder if they only killing her off so when she comes back, she's gonna be what she originally was supposed to be. Instead of an inhuman, she's gonna be, I swear, if she comes back and she is a mutant now, I'll be even more clear because in the MCU, what did they say? Mutant. They said her she has a mutant gene because in the MCU they're going with what she was originally supposed to be. Kamala was originally supposed to be a mutant. The creators, G. Willow Wilson, all of them said, "Yeah, we pitched her as a mutant, not an inhuman." But because of they wanted to put more emphasis on in humans, they made her an inhuman. But I trust me, if she comes back and she is a mutant, I'll rest my case. Um, hey Chris, my dude, with so many crossovers, um, who would you want personally crossing over with TMNT? The next and pretty much the only next step for TMNT is Marvel, plain and simple. Marvel. And Marvel needs to suck it up and realize that working with other companies again is a benefit, not a it's not gonna mess with your revenue or whatever. Stop playing the dick measuring contest and realize that working with these other characters helps. I miss the days of crossovers with Marvel. So yes, Ninja Turtles and Daredevil, Ninja Turtles and Iron Fist, Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man, things like that. That's the plain next step. You know, them doing Ninja Turtles and Stranger Things, that caught me off guard. I'm like, really? Like, but who knows? Who uh uh you like the Punisher Max imprint? Yeah, those are pretty good. I like those. The Max series is good. Yes, Will, rest in peace, Tina Turner. What Marvel characters did you just answer that question? Hey, there's going to be a Comic Con in Pinkle. Hope I see you there. And where? In wait, hold on. There's a there's a Comic Con coming where? Oh, in Ohio. Oh, that's the city. Oh, really? I still have. I probably won't. That probably won't happen. Maybe not this year. Uh, did you catch a glimpse of the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer? I did, Shoujo. I did catch that. Looks good. Looks interesting. Looks very interesting. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. Indeed, it looked good. Matthew Lillard's in it. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Uh, I also get the fact the Swiss Alps are nice. Yeah, I hear they're very nice. Like they're very nice. Let's see. Warhawk. Only comics that should have direct movie influence are MCU tie-ins. Yeah, like I'm fine with that. But the main continuity, the 616 universe, should not be having influences of the MCU. That they're the source, not the movies. And you're starting to see that more and more. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, why are they doing that? Did you like the Blue Beetle trailer? Yes, I did. I did like the Blue Beetle trailer. I loved it. I watch it a lot actually. I actually watch that trailer a lot. I did a whole video on it. I said my likes about it, but I also said my things I don't like. I wish it took place in El Paso because that's where Jaime's from, not some made up city. I don't like. I didn't really like that. Where's Paco? His best friends, things like that. But I did like the trailer, and I did see an image that he does make cannons. So I'm like, because I was like, is he just making blades? Because that's not all the armor could do. And then I saw an image of him, and he had a cannon. I'm like, oh, thank you. But I do like the trailer, and I love that the DC movies are starting to put at the end of their trailers, see where it all started. The comics. If more of them did that, that would help. You got to express the source material, where these characters came from. I wish Marvel did that too. It's like, you want to know where this character? Here, this is where it all started. Read these. They don't do that. I really wish they would. But I did like the Blue Beetle trailer. Um, and the actor who's playing him, I got another one of my fan casting right. Soon as I saw him in Cobra Kai, I instantly was like, that's Jaime Reyes right there. Book him. And to see him, and the fact to know that the costume is more practical than special effects, I love it. Um, well, I don't know if you answered this, but did you watch the new uh, unrecorded gameplay? Honestly, it looks. Are you talking about that real like first person shooter game? I saw images of that. I gotta admit it looked pretty good. I was like, okay. Um, so yeah. Why do you think Marvel are trying to make the comics more like the MCU? Why do you think? Simple, because there are more people who are invested into the MCU than the comics. Me, I grew up with the comics first. So to see them adapt my favorite stories from the comics onto the screen, yeah, that's but they need to realize, and Kevin Feige and them needs to realize is that, but at the end of the day, yes, it's more casual. They're trying to get the people who are interested into the MCU to translate into the comics, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I can tell you that right now. What it would help if you had somebody who read the comics and them injured. Like there are times I had like I said before. I've talked about this before. I have a lot of cousins that will comment on like Facebook, and sometime they'll be like, "Well, let me ask my cousin Chris," and they'll tag me in a post and stuff like, "Chris, would this happen?" And I appreciate that. I will always appreciate that. I have younger cousins that will come to me and ask me about the comic stuff before anything, and I'm like I remember there was one comment of a cousin of mine. He wanted to know about you know the different kryptonites and Superman. And I was like, and I think it was Red, and he's like, does Red really do that to him? I was like, yeah, Red kind of turns him evil. It will turn him like that and things like that. So there was another time somebody asked me, another cousin asked me about, same cousin asked me about gold kryptonite because he was playing Injustice and he saw when he got cut, and he was like, can gold kryptonite do? I was like, yeah, gold kryptonite can take his powers away. Yep, that's exactly what it can do. So yeah, so things like that, I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, yeah, they're trying to get those people who just, and those are the ones I don't like as much as general. I'm not a big fan of just the people who like the MCU and they don't even know a thing about the source material. They don't know. They just they think they know it because, oh, I watch the MCU. That's how it is, right? And I'm like, no, that's not how it is. You know, like for example, like um people think, oh, Rhodey was in the Air Force. No, he wasn't. Rhodey's not. Rhodey's not in the Air Force. Rhodey was a Marine. They got it backwards. They got it different in the MCU. In Rhodey, Rhodey was a Marine in Vietnam. That's where he saved, you know, Tony. When they kind of upped it, when they retconned the origin a little bit to more fit with what was going on with the times. That's why they did the whole, Tony was in Afghanistan and stuff like that. And I get that. I get that you want to up it to make it, yes, but at the same time, you got to remember where it started. It started in the '60s. What war was going on in the '60s? Vietnam. '60s and so yeah. But yeah, I there you see people like that, and I'm like, no, you got to kind of educate them. You don't do it harshly. That's what I do. Anytime I see some of these, and I'll get in a conversation with these, and I'm like, okay, let me explain a little bit. That's not the case. Yes, I understand you love what they did, but this is the true source. This is the true origin of this character. Same like when they people talk about Rocket Raccoon, and they're like, yeah, man, he's cool. And I'm like, yeah, but do you understand where he got that name from? And I educate them where they got the name from. And the fact is, in the comics, it was always stated Rocket spoke with a strong Cockney accent. He had a British accent. Um, and I always thought when they were casting Rocket, I thought they were going to get a British actor. But don't get me wrong, Bradley Cooper did his thing as Rocket. Don't get me wrong. The way you can't even tell um you can't even tell that's Bradley Cooper at times. I'm like, that's Bradley Cooper. It's hard, but he found a voice for him. But yeah, there's a lot of people that don't realize that his name kind of comes from an old Beatles song, Rocky Raccoon. Get it? So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah. Let me see where we leave off on. I know if you enter. Oh, okay. Marion, why do you? No, I did that too. No one stays dead in comics. Yes. Uncle Ben's still dead. He ain't come back. Uncle Ben's still dead. Uh, the Kents are still dead. One of them is dead. Like the Waynes have never, in the main continuity, have never come back. They're still dead. Certain people do stay dead. Heroes you're talking about don't stay dead. Well, the original Marvel's been dead. He hasn't come back really. Are you looking forward to Suicide Squad kill? I don't know. The more I'm keep looking at it, I'm like, yeah. The only reason I'll say I'll is for Kevin Conroy, because that's the last time we're gonna hear him voice Batman. So that I will say that. Um, Marion, I think about it. I think about it now. I think Barbara would disown. I wouldn't say she would disown him, but yeah, she would be a little disappointed. Yeah, this is my team up idea. Kyle Rayner and Blue Beetle. What do you think? Not bad. I mean, Kyle's. I don't think has ever met any of the Blue Beetles. I don't think he has. I don't think he's met Ted Cord. I don't think he's met uh, uh, Jaime Reyes. I don't even think and he damn sure hasn't met Dan Garin. Uh, but it'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that. Tariq, people don't realize that just how many characters are missing from the Infinity War movie and appears in the original. Exactly. Like, I give them credit. First of all, I'll say this with the MCU. They have been able to adapt some stories that I hate and make them better. Like, I don't like Civil War. I hate that storyline. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But they went and made it pretty damn good, even with the amount of characters that was in that Civil War movie that they didn't even have access to yet. Same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man Far From Home was basically a mixture of uh uh One More Day and all that stuff, and actually made it work because I hate that storyline. Infinity War is always a fun because I love the Marvel cosmic side, which they don't focus on a lot. I wish Marvel would focus on more of their cosmic heroes more. And I'm not just talking the Guardians. I'm talking about Quasar and Nova and the Star Jammers and and Silver Surfer. Well, when Surfer does come, they always give Surfer credit, but stuff like that. But yeah, but if you look at the Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet, all that stuff, yeah, there was characters in there that you know. It's funny, like now that they brought in Adam Warlock. He's played a big role in Infinity War, and he was nowhere to be seen. He was still in the cocoon. So yeah, things like that. Very in Drake. Nathan Makes. First, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino is going to be a first. Wait, is reporting that Al's girlfriend is pregnant. Al Pacino is I. Al Pacino has kids. He's gonna have kids now, man. Wow, it's not the first time I heard of actors who are older. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna judge anybody about that. Do you think it's possible that Eddie Brock becoming Venom might be different from the comics in Marvel? Yeah, I just talked about that. I don't think Eddie has been mentioned. I think in the games, but I don't think Eddie Brock is going to be Venom in Spider-Man 2. I think it may be Harry. I think it may be somebody else. Are you a fan of BattleTech and Mecha Warrior? I haven't watched BattleTech in a long time, but I was a fan. Yes. Um, when you read a Green Lantern comic, what voice do you hear? For which character? The real question. That's the question, really. The real question is which character. Um, yeah, that's the real question. Sorry, guys. I eat. Oh, plantains. I love that. The real question is which character. If if we're doing okay, let's start with Hal Jordan. Okay, I'll start with Hal Jordan. Um, let's start with that. If I'm gonna go with Hal Jordan, the voice that I hear coming out of him is Nathan Fillion. Yep, I hear Nathan Fillion come out of his voice. Then than Steve Bloom. I didn't think Steve Bloom his voice was right for Hal Jordan in Injustice 2. I was like, oh, no, that doesn't sound right for Hal. Nathan Fillion. When I hear John Stewart, I do hear Phil Lamar. That's perfect for him. Phil Lamar did a great job voicing Jon Stewart. I liked it. It was perfect. And it's funny because I was just watching Justice League on Netflix. Netflix has Justice League and Justice League Unlimited back up on there. And I was watching it. And it was just like old times. I was watching one of my favorite episodes from Justice League Unlimited when they had to fight Mordred, Morgan Le Fay's son, and they had to be kids again. I love that episode. And also when the time episode where they went to the Wild West and then they went to the future and we got to see Bruce meet his older self, and Static was older. He was like 65, and it was funny hearing Phil Lamar do both of their voices. And Jon Stewart was like, "Last time I saw you, you were even old enough to drive. You look good for a man your age." He's like the ideas of modern medicine. 65 is a new 40. I was like, new 30. I remember that. It was good. So yeah, I do. When it comes to Kyle, I forget the actor who voiced Kyle Rayner in the original animated. So I don't know I hear with Kyle. Same thing with Guy Gardner. I don't know who I hear with Guy Gardner or Jessica Cruz or Simon Boz or Alan Scott. All the old school. I don't know who I hear. It is, whenever I read comics, and I do when I'm reading the comics, and there are certain voices I hear when I'm reading their character. Like, for example, I said it before, when I'm reading Wolverine, I don't hear Steve Bloom. I hear Cal Dodd, the original voice actor who made Wolverine voice. When I'm reading Gambit, I hear Chris Potter, who voiced him in the 90s. Even with all the third person talk, that's who I hear. Um, Even when I read Professor Xavier, I don't hear Patrick Stewart. That's not who I hear. Nope, I don't hear Patrick. When I read, I don't hear Patrick Stewart's voice coming out of him. I hear the actor who voiced him in the original X-Men cartoon. I don't hear Patrick Stewart. Superman, when I'm reading, it is um it is damn it, I'm forgetting his name. Uh oh my god, what am I forgetting? Tim Daly. I do hear Tim Daly. It's either Tim Daly or Christopher Reeves I hear. Those are the two voices I hear, or a combination of both. So yeah, there are certain people I do hear. Um, would you? Who should play the Beyonder? For me, I think Henry Cavill be great as a Beyonder. The Beyonder is a very interesting character because there's so many different versions of that character. But Henry Cavill could do it. I think Henry Cavill can do anything. I love Henry Cavill, and I said before, like if he's not going to be able to do anything for DC, Marvel should scoop that dude up, get him to a contract, and just say, "Here's the characters, choose." Because there are several characters I can see Henry Cavill playing in Marvel, including Cyclops. I can see him playing Cyclops, not just a British character. Like, I know everybody says, oh, he should play Captain Britain, Brian Braddock. Yeah, why? Just because he's British? I get it, but he can do a pretty good American accent, and I would love to see him play a character. So yeah. Um exactly. The Adam Warlock wasn't even mentioned, but like you said, overall it was a great film. Yeah, it's a great film. Adam Warlock, like I said, he debuted in The Last Guardians, which I'll talk about that later. But yeah, he wasn't even mentioned. He was still in a cocoon. We kept seeing image of his cocoon, but at the end of the day, you know, he played a big role. Same thing with Drax, the Destroyer. Drax was the whole What I don't like about what they did with Drax in the MCU is made him an alien, because at the end of the day, that green body, that body that he has now, that was made for him. He was built to kill Thanos. The original Drax, the Destroyer, was human. He's the daughter of the Marvel character. He's the daughter. He's the father of the Marvel character Moondragon. And when his body was killed, Thanos' father took his essence of his spirit and put it into that green Kratos like body that you see now. He was meant to kill Thanos, and they clearly nerfed him big time. You know, and they've nerfed a lot of Marvel characters. So don't ever say they don't nerf these characters. They do. They nerf them big time. Um, what was the first cryptic you were ever exposed to me to? For me, it was Abominable Snowman. First cryptic. Uh, it was between the Jersey Devil, because that I'm closer to that. Jersey Devils, and I'm in New York, and Jersey's not too far from me. But yeah, of course, and and Bigfoot, of course, Bigfoot, probably the most famous cryptic, who I do believe, and I'm not joking, believe is real. I do believe that thing is real. There are some cryptics that I do feel is real. I can't believe everything is a hoax, especially with the Sasquatch. Is that there have been rumors of people seeing it since the late 1800s. President Roosevelt said he saw it. He made a journal about it. He said he saw it. So yeah, there's certain things that I'm like, yeah, you can't just make that stuff up. And there's got to be most myths have a bitter truth to them. And with the Sasquatch, I think I got it. It says it's fake. It's just a hairy Canadian running around and I'm like that. It's just funny. It's just weird, but you know, Sasquatch definitely. Jersey Devil, I'm not so much to believe is real. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to the Pine Barrens, and that is a big forest-like area that occupies New Jersey, and it's just as big as I believe Yellowstone. It's huge. That forest area is huge, but I don't believe the whole legend of mom had 14 children and the last one or something like that, and she wished the last child was a devil. It popped out of her. It looked, it had hooves, and it flew out there, and nah, come on, I can't buy that. But there are people that said they seen it, and they took lie detector tests and they saw something. And it was on a I remember because I was a big on the Learning Channel, and there was a show they used to call Monster Quest. Y'all remember that show? And they did an interview with people that said they saw the Jersey Devil, and they talked about it. And one family said it was on its roof. They saw it up in the tree. It jumped down. It chased them. It jumped on the roof, and they could hear something coming off the roof. They were trying to get in the door, and then of course they went outside the next day and saw hoof prints on the top of the roof embedded in the snow. Now, I'm not saying that somebody couldn't just get up there and do that, but then these people, a sculptor made a sculpture of what they described, what they saw. And they came in, and these people looked legit. And you could say, well, they could have been trained actors, but you could tell somebody who's not faking it and who's faking it, and they look legit scared and almost like that's what I saw. And the sculptor was really good. This sculptor made it where you couldn't really see the face. They said it, the wings covered it, and you just saw red eyes, and you could just see something was just looking over. And I was just like, whoa. So yeah, things like that. But yeah, I'm a big cryptic zoologist nut. I love that kind of stuff. Do I believe every one of them is fake? No, I don't. I Sasquatch is one of them I think is seriously real. You know, there are areas even in our country alone that are so not that can that are so exclusive. There ain't a lot of people around. There and uh, a big like bipedal with sufficient food and yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Call me crazy, but I believe it. Kyle Rayner was the voice. That was Will Ferrell who voiced. I'm talking about when Kyle Rayner was voiced when he first debuted in Superman. That couldn't have been that could not that could for real that yeah he took over in Justice League. Yeah, see, that was not the original actor. The original in Brightest Day in the Superman the animated series was Michael P. Greco. He voiced Kyle. That's the Kyle I'm talking about, not Will. I know he took over. Yeah. Um, when I read He-Man comic books, I hear the original voice actor. Yeah, I do. The one that echoes, the voice that echoes from the one from my childhood. Yeah, that's the one I hear. I hear. Yes, Drax was a monster. Even Thor could have beaten him for the first time. Yeah, yeah. Remember, there are two different Drax. There's there's the robot Drax that looks like a just a jacked up Namekian, and then there's the Drax that you see now, the one that kind of that Dave Batista was like. Yeah, that's the one. What will and Mordecai and Rigby think of the Justice League? Cool, I guess. Hello everyone. How's everybody doing? Fine, Andre. So, what do you think about the new Doom Patrol comic from Dawn of DC? Haven't read it, and I don't know. I might not read it. Um, the Dawn of DC books that I am reading, Green Arrow. Uh, Personally, right now, Green Arrow is definitely one of them. I'm gonna read the Superman stuff in trade with Jonathan Kent. Um, I will be picking up the Steel book that's going to be written by Michael Dorn. Michael Dorn who also voiced Steel. There you go. If you want to know that, that's when people. If you want to know who I hear when I read Steel, Michael Dorn, who voiced him in Superman the animated series. That's who I hear. So looking forward to Steel. Of course, I'm reading Titans because I love Tom Taylor and everything he's doing with it's great. I'm gonna read Wonder Woman, and I can't believe Wonder Woman's now gonna be a mom. She's got a daughter coming, and that's really cool to see that the Trinity all have kids now. Superman has Jonathan, Batman has Damian, and we're talking birth kids, and then Wonder Woman's gonna have Trinity. That's gonna be her name. So, what's your favorite Green Lantern supervillain? Green Arrow. Oh, Green Arrow. I thought that said Green Lantern. Brick. I know probably say people say Merlin. I like Merlin, but Brick. Brick is my favorite, and probably Automatopoeia. He's just different. I like that. Uh, he's just really out there. Um, you ever have dark force? You ever have dark forces? What does that mean? I don't. Ever played Dark Force? Okay, you ever played Dark Force? What was Dark Force? If I have to, I gotta let me make sure. It's a it's a game, right? You said you're talking about is it the Star Wars game? No, I don't think I've played it. There's a lot of Star Wars games I haven't played, so uh, I am interested in playing that new one that came out. I'm actually looking forward to playing that. But no, I have not played it. Pew. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yes, thank you. Don't forget to thank you. I appreciate that, Kuba. Don't forget to like the video, hit that thumbs up, guys. I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, let's see what else we have here. What do you think about the recent shutdown of shared accounts on Netflix? They finally went with when they finally has have done it. Remember how they always said like, yeah, that's a crime now. Like, sharing your Netflix password and stuff like that is a crime. And I'm like, I don't because there's still people doing it. If you got to enforce it to, and now if they are, okay, it's a little immature in my opinion because it's like Netflix saying, hey, don't share your account because you're the one paying for it, not that person, not the person you want to share it with. But at the end of the day, it's like, look, if you give your password to somebody, what's stopping? How are you going to stop that? The only way you can stop is if you add more security to it by, well, okay, what's your, the whole like, okay, answer the three security questions. What's your favorite this or blah 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 blah. It's a little, come on. How do you feel about Arnold in his new position with Netflix? That's cool. As an Arnold fan, I'm happy for him. Like I said, Arnold. If you weren't a children of the '80s growing up, Arnold was like your hero. That was your dude. That was one of the dudes you went to. I grew up with Arnold, so to see him get this kind of role where he's kind of like the creative action brand ambassador for Netflix, like who better? Arnold was the king of action. Yeah, you could say, well, Stallone's up there too. Yeah, but it was more Arnold. Let's be real. It was more Arnold. Yeah, we know they had a rivalry back then, but yeah. Cuba, favorite horror monster. When you mean horror monster, you mean just in general? Because if I do that, then I'm just gonna go with werewolves. I love werewolves, so yeah, there's a horror monster. Do you read Green Lantern, the new Guardian storyline? I haven't. The last Green Lantern book I read fully was um uh where is it? I think it's over there. So on my other shelf. Uh the last Green Lantern book that I read was what was the last Green Lantern book I read? Um, what was it called? I'm forgetting the damn name. Uh, uh, what was it called? I can't believe I'm forgetting the dang name. Oh, Far Sector. There we go. Far Sector with Sojourner. The latest. I was the last Green Lantern book that I read through. I have it in trade, so I read that. I like that. I like her. Sojourner is a cool new addition to the Green Lantern core. Um, I love her a lot. Sojourner Mulligan. So yeah, she was good. Uh, just because they can, just because they can, does not mean they should. About what? Okay. Okay. Here's a fun one. Pick a team of five of your favorite DC or Marvel villains, and then five of your favorite Marvel heroes to face off with them. Favorite. Okay. Um, favorite five DC or Marvel villains. Can I mix them? Can I mix them up? Okay. Well, let's go Marvel. I'll do Marvel. So Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom, Mister Sinister, uh, uh, Red Skull, um, uh, Mandarin, and let's go Juggernaut. There you go. And five favorite Marvel heroes to face them. Okay. Cap, Blue Marvel, Doctor Strange. There's too many X-Men to pull from. And there's so many, so many I could choose from. But you get the gist of it. Yeah, something like that. There you go. Uh, well, have you seen Tekken Bloodline? Yes, I have. I like it. Was okay, not as good as the other adaptation, but it was fun. Yes, it was. It was fun. Um, so, what do you think about the leaked information of Miss Marvel being killed off? Um, oh, the Netflix stuff. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, um, uh, Kamala Khan dying in the next Spider-Man comic is interesting. I don't know why they're doing it. This death came out of nowhere. This is nobody asked for this. Nobody, and I think it's just shock value. They, and I'm saying this before. If she comes back, because she ain't gonna be dead for long. She comes back and she is now a mutant instead of an inhuman. It doubles on what I just said about them incorporating what's going on in the MCU into the source materials now. Because in the source material, they made Kamala what she really is. She's a mutant. In the comics, when she first before she debuted, they pitched her creators, G. Willow Wilson, all of them, they pitched her to be a mutant, but they didn't give them her to be a mutant. They wanted her to be inhuman because they were pushing Inhumans at that point. I meant so you can mix them. My fault. Oh, okay. Well, I kind of messed up now. So, all right, let's do this again. All right. So 5 on 5. So, all right, we'll go. I'll I'll mix it with 3 Marvel, 2 DC, I guess. Let's go. All right. Let's start with the villains. Doctor Doom, like I said, my number one favorite villain of all. Uh, Mr. Sinister, my favorite X-Men villain of all. And like I said, I'll just stick with Juggernaut. The 2 DC villains will be Parasite and Lady Shiva. Yeah, there you go, Lady Shiva. So we'll go, we'll go, and I'm not just picking their arch enemy. So we'll go Cap, we'll go Blue Marvel, we'll go Thor, and with no Scrooge, no, let's leave Thor out. We too far. Shang-Chi, there you go. Because I would love a Shang-Chi Lady Shiva fight, big time. That'd be great. And the DC characters I'll go with is Black Lightning and the Flash. Let's just put that. Those are 2 of my favorite DC heroes. I love them. So yeah, uh, there you go. Yeah, I'm a big Blue Marvel fan who does not get enough credit. How many times did Hal Jordan? How many times did Hal Jordan? He got tricked. What? What are you talking about? I don't. Yeah. Can you repeat that question? You got some dope teams. Yeah. I'm a. People call me the team guy. I can build a team real quick. Like like if you watch like for example, I do a segment on my channel, Tariq, called non-comic book lineup, where I take a team in American comics and I come and then basically I take that team and create a team of non-comic books that are from American comics. Can't use any of those characters, and I use characters from cartoons, anime, manga, video games. I just put up the latest. I put up called the Savage Six. They're from Marvel Comics, and I just put up the uh, the latest. I Before that I put up who are some non comic book characters I think could be worthy of being Green Lanterns. I did that, and one of the characters I said straight off was be Ryu from Street Fighter. I was like, he would a Green Lantern ring would definitely come to him, and I said it before. I said Ryu would probably turn it down because he doesn't need it. He would think that would be a crutch in a sense because as a true warrior that he is, you would feel like all that power, I should earn it. Like that's why I love Ryu so much. What DC characters can speak Mexican? Can speak Mexican? You mean Spanish? Take your pick. that that Quentin, dude, that's a little weird because there's no such thing as speaking Mexican. You mean speaking Spanish, right? Mexican the is the ethnicity or is the nationality, but Mexicans speak Spanish. So take your pick of almost every Latino character, Spanish character in DC, and even Batman speaks Spanish. Come on, man. Like, think about that. Uh, think about that, bro. Like, that's a little out there. So, and anyway, when it comes to Nightwing's own personal relationship, which romance is your favorite? Nightwing. I love him. It's Corey. I love Babs. Don't get me wrong. I love Barbara. I love Babs. But if I'm Nightwing, I'm going with the orange skin alien girl all the way. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Babs, but Corey all the way. Somebody talk about somebody who is in tune with their emotions and everything like that. All the way with Corey. And we got Tariq laughing. I don't know what he's laughing at, but did I say something funny? If I did, oh, I made you laugh. That's a good deed. My good deed for the night. So which so can you make a quick non-comic book lineup of the Gotham City Sirens? No, because that would because I may want to do that in a future episodes. And I think I do have that as a future episode. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Do you like South Park? No, I don't. No, I don't. I do not like South Park. I do not. I do not like South Park. Let's see what else we have. No, that's about it. Oh, okay. So, which Pacific island do you want to visit? Too many. Hawaii. I mean, that's in the Pacific. There's so many. There's just a bunch. That's just too many. Cuba. Favorite Luke Cage moment. Ooh, I do love me some Luke Cage. He's my top. He's in my top 10 all-time favorite Marvel characters of all time. Luke Cage. One of my favorite Luke Cage moments. Probably when he became a dad. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Marvel has done so much with him from making him from where he started as just being almost the stereotypical black character, and then becoming an Avenger. Yeah, he had a one night stand with Jessica Jones. She got pregnant, but they ended up together. They have a daughter, Danielle, who is named after his brother from another mother, Danny Rand, aka the Iron Fist. And now he is the mayor of New York in the Marvel Comics. Talk about an evolution, right? But yeah, I think one of his best moments is definitely for me was when he became a dad and got married, and to Jessica Jones. That was and they put a lot of emphasis on that, the wedding of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. Another good moment I have is when he beat Namor. He beat Namor in the water, not out of the water. They went in the, and this was during Avengers versus X-Men, another story I don't like. And Namor thought, okay, well, I'll drag Luke into the water. He's on my turf. Luke said, "Fuck you," and knocked him out. And all you saw was Namor come flying out of the water. Luke just coming out of the water like, yeah, fucker, like you thought you were gonna beat me in your own turf, but I wrong. Another moment that I love with Luke Cage is when he first joined the new Avengers, the Avengers, and they were tracking down people who broke out of the raft. They found Electro, who was up in Boston, and Luke and Spider Man are conversating, and Luke asks Spider Man, "How did you used to beat him? Like he's one of yours, right?" I used to web my hands up, you know, and he's like, because they had him in a bubble, and like and Luke said, he said, "Well, all right, web my hands up." So Spidey webs his hands up, and he's like, "All right." He's like, "Tony, let down the bubble and let me in." He was gonna bust. He was gonna bust Electro up, and Electro saw. He's like, "All right, I'll tell you." That was hilarious. I was cracking up with that. Another moment that I love with Luke Cage in comics. When Luke was leading the Avengers, his Avengers team, they were stopping AIM and I forgot the woman's name. And Luke can't drive. He doesn't know how to. They were stealing trucks. They stole these trucks that filled. I think it was some poison or something that AIM was trying to use. And Luke, he was like, I don't think. I think there was no key in the car in the truck. So Luke picks up this semi and jogs with it all the way back to with the rest of the team. And they were just like, "Where's Luke?" And he's like, "I'm right here." And he's like, "What? You couldn't drive it?" He's like, and Jessica was like, "What did you?" He's like, "There was no key in it." Now this is a semi truck. Luke is carrying and running with it, just showing just how strong he is. And it was so funny. I was cracking up with that. So yeah, those are some good Luke Cage moments. I love. I love indeed. So here's a quick question: who's the DC Comics equivalent of Blade? Eric Brooks. Um, there's a vampire character in DC that, but he's a vampire. He's not a half vampire. He's not a vampire. Um, he's I somewhat in that realm, but there really is no Blade equivalent in Marvel, in DC. Like there's no real Spider-Man equivalent. I know everybody says uh that was that Spider. I'm forgetting his name, but he's nothing like Spider-Man. He's not. He's nothing like him. How powerful is Kyle Rayner with the Green Lantern entity? You talking about Ion? He was very powerful when he had Ion in him. Who is more badass, John Wick or Jason Bourne? They both have their merits. Both of them do. You know, you got to also look at it from a point of view. Jason is a highly skilled. Both are assassins, but he's a government assassin, while John is just an assassin at general. They both are respected and feared in their own world. And I said this: imagine a crossover between Robert McCall, the Equalizer, Jason Bourne, John Wick, and and uh, Jack Reacher. Imagine that crossover. That'd be cool. But to me, Jason Bourne is dangerous because he will use anything as a weapon, even a small pen. In a sense, John is great too. Don't get me wrong, but you can't have just normal objects around you when you facing Jason. We've seen that. Like he will use anything. What the ninja what Ninja Turtle character will be annoyed by Guy Garner outside of Raphael? Mm, Ninja Turtle characters. Casey. I think Casey would hate him. Wouldn't like him too much. So, which Looney Tune character should get their own animated feature? Daffy Duck. I love Daffy Duck. Taz. Those are like two of my favorites. Kuba once again asks his favorite '80s movie. Oh wait, movie score. That's man, that's a tough one because there's a lot of '80s movie scores that I love. So I'll go with one. Conan the Barbarian. I love that music. That score alone is just gorgeous. I love that. Did you read the Green Lantern story where Superman and Kyle Rayner fought Mongol? Superman couldn't knock him out, but Kyle knocked him out easily. People sleep on Kyle. I think I did. I, it's not just people; it's the damn company themselves that sleep on Kyle. Everything focused around when it comes to Green Lantern. And I noticed a lot of Green Lantern questions tonight. Uh, when they focus on Green Lantern, they focus on only two of the Earthling Green Lanterns. It's always focused on Hal Jordan or John Stewart. They are too overexposed. They're too overexposed. And it's like, if I was putting a Justice League team together and I wanted a Green Lantern, you better believe Kyle's on that team. I'm doing what Grant Morrison did. Grant Morrison, when he had the Justice League, he had Kyle Rayner. He didn't have Hal or John. He had Kyle Rayner on the team. If I was putting together a Justice League team, Kyle would be on the team, not not Hal or John. They're too overexposed. They're too over because that's everybody just talks about them, and I don't think a lot of people even forget like the real Green Lantern is Alan Scott. He's the original. Same thing with Flash. Jay Garrett is the original Flash, not what you see now. Jay Garrett was first, then comes Barry Allen, Wally West next. Bart Allen took over the Flash for a while. So yeah, but I love the Flash. He is my one of my favorite top 10 favorite DC characters. I love Flash. And I need to finish watching the rest of the last season of Flash. And I will do an overview of Flash when I'm finished. Just talk about it in general. But outside of that, I will say, thank you, Mr. Grant Gustin, for your contributions. Thank you for, not everything in the show was good. There was a lot more bad writing in that show than good writing. But Grant Gustin, Grant, Grant Gustin is probably is a better Flash than that Ezra Miller ever was. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Fuck Ezra Miller. Dude belong in jail. And I'm hearing the director of the Flash movie saying, "Oh, nobody will replace." Get the hell out. I know 10 actors right now who could have and can still do a better job at playing the Flash than Ezra Miller. Fuck him. Grant Gustin was better than him. Um, but I have read that, Tariq. War the Great Cornholio meets. Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be funny. They would be just laughing at him like, "What is he on? Like, is something wrong with him?" Like, that'd be funny. I think Hulk would want to kill him. Yeah, Hulk would. I'm gonna break him. Like, I'm gonna break Cuny, man. That'd be funny. So this is from Andre. So would you read a Marvel comic book featuring a potential secret long lost daughter of Shang-Chi or Jimmy Woo. Yeah, I read anything if it has an interesting backstory. Okay, for example, Marvel now has been doing as of late a lot of these lost story arcs of certain characters or untold stories. Like you're seeing Peter David, and I hope he's doing well. Peter David, hope he's getting better and things like that. Peter David has been writing writing a lot of these stories with Spider-Man when he still had the symbiote costume, and we only know a little bit. When the first they we don't know everything, but these are like lost adventures of him, and it's cool. They just put out a new series with Adam Warlock. I'm reading, and it's basically showing that it's like a lost story. Like there was an he's fighting his replacement who is a female. Um, Stuff like that. I'm liking these lost stories that they've been doing. So, I mean, hell, Spider Man. They just introduced Spider Boy, who was a long lost sidekick of Spider Man that was forgotten. Nobody remembers him, and I'm like, okay, how did that happen? It's never about. It's even a question of Peter has a sister, Teresa Parker. She's, I think she's young. She's younger sister, and he introduced her and said she is the daughter of I don't think she's the daughter of Richard Parker, but not Mary Parker, Peter's mother. I think her father, Peter's dad, had an affair or something like that. So no, they're no, they're this. She is the daughter of Mary Parker. Just want to make sure. Yeah, she's she's believed to be the younger daughter of CIA agents Richard and Mary Parker. Remember, Peter's parents were spies, which is just cool to see. Um, they say that she is, so Peter does have a blood relative, uh, but still they haven't really gone into detail of her origin. Are they really true? All they need to do is do a DNA test, really, just like, okay, let's take Peter's DNA and her DNA and see if it matches. But it's supposedly that Nick Fury knew about her. We're talking old school Nick Fury, white Nick Fury, not his son, Nick Fury Jr. And to me, it's believable that Nick would know and he wouldn't tell Peter, you know. Uh, but yeah, I don't mind stuff like that. If they did do, I wouldn't say Shang-Chi because I don't think has ever been in a real serious relationship. He hasn't been in a real relationship. Jimmy Woo, yes, I can believe. Like the long lost daughter of Jimmy Woo and Namora, because they were together for a while when they were part of the Jimmy Woo and Namora were a thing during their Agents of Atlas days. So, you know, I could see that like a half and another Atlantean hybrid. I really like those Kyle Rayner Hitman team ups. Kyle Rayner Hitman team ups with did Kyle Rayner have did Kyle Rayner have two girlfriends? His first girlfriend died and she was killed, and his enemy left her in a the big refrigerator scene. That's for one. Uh Thoughts on a Metal Gear Solid remake? I talked about that, Travis, earlier. I'm worried about that because I don't trust Konami. Don't trust them at all. But yeah, I'm interested in why they went with Metal Gear Solid Snake Eaters instead of uh you know something else, but that's fine. Did Kyle Rayner meet his father again? I think he did. I could be wrong. And it's not Ringer, it's Rayner. A lot of Kyle questions tonight. Oh shit. Favorite fid. What Cuba? What's fid? I don't know what that is. What's fid, Cuba? I don't know what that is. Uh, Warhawk axes. Mercenaries Playground of Destruction should get a. I remember Mercenaries. That was a fun game. That was very interesting. Uh, that is an underrated gem. Yeah, that was. There's a DC character called Hitman. He's Irish. Ah, okay. I'm trying to remember. Some of them like I don't remember. I'm like, wait, Hitman? Because I'm thinking Agent 47. I'm like, when did that happen? Yes, remember Kyle Rayner is Irish and Mexican. So yeah. Cuba, five of your favorite classic Disney movies. Ooh. I gotta always go Pinocchio. I love Pinocchio. Um, Always gotta go Dumbo for obvious reasons. Dumbo that as a big part of for someone who lost to his mother at a young age, that hits hard. Like I don't care anytime that scene comes up where he's visiting his mom and she's rocking him and that song comes on, I start crying. I bawl because I start thinking about my mother. 101 Dalmatians, love 101 Dalmatians. Still to this day, I don't care what anybody. Cruella Deville is a monster. Did you? I don't care what anybody's. Let's just. This is a Disney movie. First, listen to what this woman said. How to kill the dogs just to get their fur. You heard what she said? Drown them, bash them over the head, chloroform them. I'm like, this is a Disney movie talking. Like this movie came out in the 70s, and I'm like, are you hearing what this woman just said? Even Glenn Close herself even said she was a monster. Did you hear how she said for Horace and Jasper to kill the dogs? Drown them, bash them in the head. Like, god damn, it's crazy. Um, so 101 Dalmatians, uh what's another favorite classic? I'll stick like mm, Jungle Book. I love, even though for someone who read the original book by Roderick Kipling and then watching that and you're like, wait, what? Like it's almost like this ain't what happened in the book. Like Disney always Disneyfies something. That's a word I kind of came up with. Like they'll take horrible stories that happen and they'll Disneyfy and make it better. You know, in the original book, Mowgli, what the way they have him in their series is nothing compared to even Baloo, all that stuff. It's crazy. Just read the original Jungle Book novel. It would scare you. Just you'll be scared for this kid growing up in the jungles of India. You're like, the hell, like it wouldn't be fun. It's like stuff like that. And another classic I love is The Fox and the Hound. I love that story. That's another sad but a lot of touching because it's a story about differences. It's a story about accepting someone for who they are, but still being friends with them. And like, I love that story. Here we are. We got a fox and a hound who would supposed to grow up to hunt, chase him. You know, Todd and Copper. That was the name, and I love that. So, when there's even a song by the owl. When you're the best of friends, it's like she gets you. It's stuff like that stuff hits. It hits hard. Those are classic. That's like the early Disney Renaissance movies. I love. But then when you start getting up now, there's I still have more. But don't get me wrong. I love the Disney animated movies, and there's some underrated gems with the animated stuff. Like to me, Treasure Planet is humongously underrated. Basically, they took Treasure Island and went into space. How's that bad? That's cool. Atlantis is that. Now you want to talk about a movie I would love to get live action. Atlantis would be one of them. You know, when I said before about Disneyfying them, like for example, Pocahontas, bro. If you know the real story of Pocahontas, you will look at that movie like almost like a godsend. Like, oh my God, I'm glad they did that. Because at the Pocahontas, you know how old Pocahontas was when she met John Smith? Hmm? You know how old she was? She was like in her teens. And you know what they did to her? No, I'm even going. We're not even going to get it. It's just terrible. So yeah, when Disney some stuff Disneyfies, it's fine. Same thing like Mulan. Mulan was Disneyfied big time because if you know the legends of Fa Mulan, it's tragic. The ending is tragic of her. Like it's like that would happen. Like Jesus. Let's see. Are you ready for Street Fighter 6? Yes, I am. I will be playing that on the channel. I'm a big Kyle Rayner fan. I am too. That's my favorite, so I get it. Why did Kyle's dad? Because he was kind of like a agent or something, if I remember correctly. What Marvel characters do you think Deathstroke would manipulate into joining him? Not a lot. Ain't too many. He can manipulate. Did you read Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter? I have that. I'm the one that got that for my friend Mr. Multi. It came from it was a Kickstarter. It's called Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter, and the writer, I have a lot of his works of literature. A lot of them I got in PDF form, so it's digital, and I have them. So yeah, yeah, we think got tie that's me. Who's more powerful, Eddie Brock, God of Light, or Hal Jordan, God of Light? Uh, Too different. Disney movie death that was Disney movie death that was Oliver and Company. What? I don't get what death. If you're talking about Disney movie death that to me like almost oh like it's probably from Tarzan when Clayton got hung and you didn't have to see it, but you knew what happened to him. Like in Tarzan when Clayton was cutting, here's the thing about the Tarzan, which is funny. Clayton is actually Tarzan's real name. That's his real name. But when he's Clayton's cutting the vines and he's trying to get and he's like Clayton don't and you just see him drop and you knew what happened to him and the lightning strikes and you see him just hanging. I'm like, oh, you knew what happened. That was probably the worst, the one that really like bothered me. I'm thank God they didn't show that. But you could see his silhouette when the lightning struck. I love Treasure Planet and Atlantis. They're underrated. Yeah, they're very underrated. Uh, which one is more sad? Kyle Rayner. Jesus Christ, what's all this Kyle Rayner? Spider-Man losing Gwen. They're both tragic. I ain't trying to. Did you find it sad and injustice when Superman was beating up Green Arrow, the last person he was thinking about, Black Canary before he died? Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the whole evil Superman stuff is just played out. It really is. It's too many, and I still lived up to this day that would never happen to Superman. He would not willingly do that, even if he lost Lois. He would not do that, and it all stemmed from when he shot his arrow at Superman. It bounced off him and nicked one of his parents, and he just goes ham on Ollie. And I'm just like, the fuck? Like, come on, man. I hope to make a way Winnie the Pooh. Depends. I don't know. You got to ask the writer. I'll maybe ask the writer. Would you want a movie of that? Of that? How villain died in what movie was graphic? How how villain died in what? Travis, what are you talking about? Like I said, if it's Disney movies, there are some tragic deaths. Some of the villains, and there's some that the deaths that bother me most, the ones that I would not want to happen to me. For example, like let's see which one that I can think of. Um, like I said, Clayton, I would not want to be lynched because that's basically what he was. McLeach from Rescuers Down Under, he fell off a waterfall. I would not want to. I would not want that to happen to me. Um, so yeah, those are some two right there. I can tell you right now. That was terrifying. It was. I was like, oh, like whoa. I was like, thank God they didn't show that. But yeah. Uh, do you think Jean Grey was a bad person for cheating on Scott with Logan? She's not bad because they're in a maniac. They're all a couple now, so it ain't cheating. Cyclops cheated on Jean. Are they making a new Green Lantern Corps? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Um Kuba, favorite animated movies or you mean movies or movie outside of Disney? Well, you got to remember, I'm from the '80s, so by that time there were a lot of animated movies outside of just Disney that I loved. Like I love when, like, still to this day, the original Land Before Time is still one of my favorites. Very another movie that hits me hard because of when Littlefoot loses his mom. It's like, and now if I watch that now even more, I'm a break down and cry because I see myself as Littlefoot and I see his mom, my mom. You know, it's like, oh god. But yeah, Long Before Time is up there. American Tail. I love American Tail, but I think I love Five O Goes West, the sequel, more than the original. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Oh my god, that hits me hard too. Ugh. At that was when they were putting out good animated films, just not from Disney. Um, Secret Secret World of Nim, uh, Fern Gully. Oh, Fern Gully was great. Um, We're Back. I love that movie. We're Back. Where John Goodman plays Rex, the dinosaur. You know, they get like that brain and they become smart dinosaurs, and I love that. That was a great movie. Uh, very that ending just hits you. It gets you. That ending, oh my god, that gets you big time. Where uh, the doctor that made Rex and his uh, his friends into smart, and they took this called brain drain that made them back into the dinosaurs of the quote unquote monsters, and the little boy um, who was with them, who found them, he Rex had picked up the doctor. He was going to eat him. Like I don't know how, because T Rex got small arms, and he's going to eat him. And he's like, Rex, don't do it. Like don't do it. And he's just pleading with him. He's like, please don't do it. Like you're good. And it helped. And somehow Rex, because of the boy's love for him, he reverted back to being smart Rex, and it was touching. I was like, but in reality, we know if that would never happen. It's like you can't try to tame a T Rex. It was funny, but yeah, it was great. it was a fun movie. That I love We're Back. I watch that. I can watch that any day and watch that. You know, because at the end of the day, they're in my home. They're in New York when that's going on. So it was really cool just to see the designs of like all those streets and things like that they had in that movie is real, like legit. Um, you know, when they were in Central Park, yeah, Central Park is that big. It's very big. If you've never been to New York City, you know, Central Park is huge. It goes from north all the way down to the south of Manhattan. Like it's huge. It's a big park. It's a really big park. There's a north side, there's an east side, there's a west side. You know, there's a zoo in the Central Park. There's the Central Park Zoo. It's cool. It's big. It's really big. Uh, Somebody said Charlotte Webb. Charlotte. I read the book before watching the animated film, and so I knew what was going to happen. And I'm not gonna lie. Again, when Charlotte dies, oh, that hits hard. That that hits. And to see all her kids leave except for three stay behind because they're too small. I love that. That was that was a good one. Should Capcom make a Mega Man Legends 3? I wouldn't mind. Look, you can see Mega Man back there. He's right there. Right by Spidey and Bruce Lee. He's right there. Um if if you were an Avenger and you just so happen to look in the sky and you seen Galactus, would you be terrified? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Would you? Wouldn't you? You see a giant, coming, basically saying, "Yeah, I'm." Yeah. But the thing is, you wouldn't see Galactus first. You would see his heralds. He sends his heralds first before he comes. Uh, I love I love only the classic Mega Man. Mega Man Legends was the classic Mega Man just without his helmet on. It was just 3D. It was different. This is my most hated character in comic. Okay. Best live action Joker. Best live action Joker. Everybody says, Heath Ledger, and I get it. But to me, it's either between Caesar Morera or Jack Nicholson. Flight of the Dragons. What Lantern Corps skips would join. Green, blue, things like that. I love animated Charlotte. Charlotte Webb, like I said, Charlotte Webb was great. Chuck Norris could train a T Rex because he's Chuck Norris. Yeah, he could. Um, which of when I find story, hey Chris, sorry, you don't gotta apologize if you no problem. Solid Snake versus Deathstroke. I would pay money to see that. That'd be cool. Does the Little Mermaid hold up for you in terms of? I have not seen the live action, so but if you're talking about the animated film, I love the animated film. Um, but I have not watched the one. That I hear a lot of people like it and give a lot of praise to Miss Bailey. So I'm happy for not. Yeah, yeah, I think yeah. So great. A lot of people also are giving a lot of thanks to uh, forget who played Ursula. I forgot her name. Do you want the Green Lantern, the animated series, to come back? I wouldn't mind. I liked it. It was good. Mm, let's see, we get ready. All right, guys. So we're gonna get ready to end this. So get your last questions ahead now before we wrap this up. Uh, Mm, 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 mm. All right. Let's see. Last questions are here. Keep being cool, dude. I appreciate that, Warhawk. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just for giggles, would what would Mira think of Ariel? Uh, she would probably be very motherly to her, but also kind of scold her on kind of her stupidity. You basically like, so let me get this straight. You gave up your voice to a sea witch for a man who is probably older than you. Because you got to remember, Ariel was young. Like she would go all ham on Mira. She wouldn't like that very much. I want the story when Kyle Rayner is an artist teacher. I would love that. That's cool. Last question from Kuma. Uh, uh, good son scenario. Oh boy, Spider Man. You got to save one and let go. That's the good son scenario. Spider Man or Kyle Rayner. Um, Goodbye, Kyle. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I could not drop Spider Man. I'm sorry. Like if I'm holding them both and I'm only got the strength to pull up one, bye, Kyle. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kyle. I gotta go. I gotta go with my hero, Spider Man. I can't. I can't. I would never let Spider Man go for anybody. I'm sorry. Nobody will take his place. Nobody. I'm sorry. Even childhood heroes, like if it was Spider Man and He Man, I'm like, I'm sorry. I think He Man would survive the fall, but it's like, but in retrospect, Spider Man would probably say, save him. I can. I'll don't. I Who am I? I'm Spider Man. Like but you know, it's funny. It's pretty cool. So it's pretty funny. I'm still contemplating my hero villain list. I got a couple of bangers too. Well, it's fine. Put them in the section in the comments, and I'll look at them later. Any words of wisdom before you leave? Be yourself. Never be afraid to be yourself. Always be yourself. That is the best person you can be. There you go. That's what I do. Well, good night, Chris. Thank you, Caroline. Well, guys, thank you for that. That was fun. It was good. But as you can see, we talk so much, guys. I didn't even eat my food. So I gotta go warm this bad boy up. This is rice and pulled pork with plantains. I didn't even eat it. So I gotta eat. I gotta go heat this up. But thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it as always. We will be back again with two more new. Thank you. We'll be back next month with two new uh, Q&A sessions. We'll do one as always. We try to do one the beginning of the month and then the end of the month. Don't forget, guys, I uploaded some new stuff. Go check out my Space Ace re-upload. If you're a gamer and you're old school gamer, if you're new school gamer, you may like it. It's a interactive animated game called Space Ace. I played it because I took down my gaming channel. So every gameplay now is just going to be on my main channel. Go watch that. You'll just hear me getting frustrated. You'll laugh at it because it's so funny just hearing me get frustrated. I didn't edit a lot of stuff out. I kept it what it is. But yeah, go check that out. I would appreciate it. I got one comment who said, and I think it was you, Kuba, who actually said, oh, I know where you were coming from with that. So thank you, Kuma, for being the first one to thumbs up and like comment on the video. Thank you, Kuma. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. As always, my pack. Peace, one love. Stay tuned. Stay safe. Stay cool. Stay loose. And take care, guys.